A ticking time bomb. That's how one leading scientist has described the impact of ultra-processed foods, things like crisps, breakfast cereals, bread. It's impacting on the UK's health. The BBC Panorama team has been investigating the issue by getting a pair of identical twins to test a highly processed diet versus an all-natural one. And looking at the effects on the volunteers, health was clear after only 2 weeks.
Amy, you were on the ultra-processed food diet. Your results were really quite different to your sisters. They were far worse. Your blood fat levels actually went up. Your lipids, which are markers of heart disease, they were increased. Your blood sugar was noticeably worse. You actually gained weight, nearly a kilogram, and you actually lost weight.
It's a bit scary, isn't it, after only 2 weeks to see those sorts of results?
So just imagine what that would be over 20 years.
You know what? That is frightening, listening to that. As someone who eats a lot of processed food myself, that's quite scary stuff. Natasha Hodges is a nutrition consultant. Natasha is wide-eyed. She joins us now. Natasha, hi.
So nice to speak to you, Wayne.
Hey, nice to have you on again. That, as I said, that's taken me back a little bit. You know, I eat a lot of these processed foods, and after just 2 weeks, it's having health implications.
Yeah, and vice versa. If you get rid of them within a couple of weeks, then you're on track to getting healthy again. So, yeah, absolutely. 11 years ago, I was eating all those sorts of things, and now I advise people to literally, get rid. Totally get rid.
Listen, we must start, Natasha, by saying that this is obviously a small sample. It's just 2 people, two twins. But speaking generally, how concerning are these findings?
Oh, my goodness. They are a massive red flag to absolutely everybody. I mean, unfortunately, we've been beholden to the food industry telling us what to eat over the last 50 years. And it's not been based in science. It's been based in trying to get us to buy stuff.
Yeah,
So,
the food industry has a part to play here, and also the Food Standards Agency, surely.
I mean, everybody that has said, that chemicals are okay for human consumption, of course, has a massive part to play. Because, real common sense, just think about it just for a tick. Why would our bodies want that stuff? They can't use it. All they have to do is they have to cope with the effects of it coming in. And you don't want your body coping. Your body needs to be thriving.
Of course, these foods aren't tested, are they?
No, and,
they are tested.
Or if they are, they're tested in a very small study. And because a lot of food studies, of course, are just based on questionnaires. They're not really based on exactly what people are eating, and people will change their answers to give, the impression that they're eating better than they are.
The truth is, Natasha, though, isn't it? We all lead busy lives, and this is just, I think, a result of the modern world. We eat on the go. We grab something quick. When we do our shopping, we throw things in our trolleys that we can just stick in the microwave and give it a ping. We're kind of a victim of society, aren't we? In many, many ways.
We are. I mean, the good thing is you can still eat relatively simply and fast as well, but leave out all the stuff that is going to cause you harm. So luckily, the 21st century still provides us with foods that are a little bit quicker. So obviously fruit and veg and nuts, for example, or cooked meats or cooked fish, those sorts of things. You can just chuck, you might have a can of tuna in your cupboard or whatever. These things aren't going to impact you. Things that are going to impact you, of course, are full of chemicals. If you look on an ingredients list and you don't understand what it is, don't eat it. So
there are some
that's
good.
a general rule of
there
thumb.
are some good processed foods, though, surely.
Well, processed as in they're the natural product, but they're delivered to you, so you don't have to go out and kill the animal or fish the fish or or as I said, there are certain types of
baked beans, for example. They're in a tin, and yes, they have additives in there to make them last longer. But baked beans are good for us. They're classed as one of our 5 a day.
The only trouble with that is, again, one of the 5 a day thing. 5 a day is a little bit of a made up rule in the first place. But with beans, there's just been a very, very recent study. Even if you're eating the no added sugar ones, they've got additives in them as well. Yeah. So there's another major health scare on sucralose, which people have been using for a long time. If it's got something in there that's a chemical, it's not that good for your body. And even if it's not ultra processed, if it's processed and it's got something in it that you need to, it's an additive, don't have it.
The problem is, are we too far down the line with this? Realistically, we're never going to go back to those days back in the 40s and the 50s where you bought everything fresh. You went to the butcher and then you went to the baker and everything was cooked fresh and there was no additives in everything. You had to go shopping on a daily basis because things didn't last. Those days are never going to return. We now have these multi-billion-pound supermarket chains that's full of these processed foods.
Absolutely. Yes, no, we are absolutely never going to get back to the point where all food will be unadulterated. But we all have the choice. You and I have the choice to choose things that aren't going to do us harm. And that's what it comes down to, isn't it? It's just saying, I'm going to do the best for myself, and I can still do it quickly, easily, cheaply, but I'm just going to choose foods that are delicious. So, of course, they're still full fat, because that's really fantastic for us. And it's about a choice. And if you're hearing this, you don't want to have chronic disease going forward, do you?
You don't, and that's another one of the problems here. We don't actually see the ramifications of what we're putting inside our bodies. Sometimes it can take years and years and years. It's not like alcohol where you get drunk and you fall over. Oh, not going to do that again. That's bad for me. It can take years and years and years before we see any impact on our bodies from eating these foods.
But if you look around and say to yourself, my goodness, how many more people have got cancer, diabetes, dementia, stroke, heart disease? They're going through the roof. Obesity is going through the roof. And obesity isn't what causes it. Obesity comes from being unhealthy. And so, people saying, people being overweight, that's not the issue. It is about your health.
It is alarming because they're now saying that the average life expectancy in this country is falling. It's been rising for many years. It's starting to come down again because of the way we're living our lives. Before we end this conversation, Natasha, how can people become more aware of what to avoid and eat less of to make them healthier?
As I said before, the things you need to be eating on is full-fat versions of everything, which is good. So you never go for something that's been processed and the fat removed from it. But if you're concentrating on meat, fish, dairy, eggs, nuts, and leafy green vegetables, you will not go far wrong. And you've got loads of products in the stores that fit that criteria. You can have them in any kind of combination that floats your boat, and you will be doing the best for your body.
It's not just the greeny stuff, though, is it? It's not just the vegetables. I remember being told by a nutritionist last year that if you're having a breakfast, if you've got fresh bacon, fresh eggs, fresh sausage, that's so much better for you than, some of the breakfast cereals that are out there.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we evolved to eat those things. That is the bottom line. We evolved to eat those things, and they are designed to support our cells.
I think the point I'm making is you don't have to eat bland to eat healthy, do you?
Oh, I mean, literally, every meal I eat, I thoroughly 100% enjoy. It's full fat, it's full flavour, and I never get bored because there's, billions of recipes out there.
What about coming round for dinner then, Natasha? That's the question.
Absolutely. You're quite welcome.
Where can people find you on the socials?
I'm on across all social media as Natasha is Wide-Eyed, and you can visit the website. And if you love food, you'll love what I do.
Listen, good to chat. Thank you. The food and Drink Federation have told us we always take the health of consumers and the safety of food seriously, and we will always adhere to strict regulations from the FSA in the UK. All additives are independently and rigorously assessed for safety by the Food Standards Agency before they can be used in food. That statement from the Food and Drink Federation. And it's BBC One tonight, the Panorama investigation. Ultra-processed food, a recipe for ill health. It's on BBC One and the iPlayer tonight, 8 p.m. Well worth watching, and it will shock you. It will shock you. Panorama tonight, BBC One on the iPlayer.